is the real talent in the Tour de France now, having to again fight from behind to take on the pretenders. The 4 riders here, Zimmerman, Roach we're looking at, then Fignon and Coquillon. Well, between them, they earn approximately £1.75 million a year. So I suppose they should work for it, Paul.
Well, I mean, if they were to give me half of that, I'm sure I'd work for it as well.
2 riders here, trying still to go clear. This looks like it might be Robert Forrest coming back into the group. And Raul Alcalá, we're seeing the remnants of the original breakaway here being picked up by the Fignon group. So we didn't even know these 2 riders were still left in no man's land. They've been swept away by the 4 men out front. They were dropped on the just over the top of the climb of the Col de Marie Blanc. Raul Alcalá, who's been in action enough today to stay in that polka dot jersey as the king of the mountains for another day. But he's had enough for today, that's for sure. His legs have finally given out on him. And Robert Forrest, the lone leader of the race for such a long way at mid-term today, he too has had enough. He's coming back into the relentless pursuit from this field, which is growing all the time in these closing miles. Riders are coming from the back, and now 1 or 2 are coming from the front. There's even no urgency here by Pedro Munoz to take up the 2 men in front.
Well, Phil, I think this is going to be an amazing Tour de France because it's far from over yet. In fact, this is, as far as I can see, this is the first day, and after the hard days we've had today, everybody's attacking the big groups all over the place. Fignon was left behind. Lots of other of the favourites were left behind, and it seems to be coming back together again. So, apart from this group of 4 riders who are still just over 3 minutes in front, it's very, very difficult to predict who's going to win the Tour de France because they've raced very, very hard today, and it's still between the leaders a status quo because none of the big leaders, apart from Jean-Francois Bernard, have managed to change the positions.
And these are the men that's causing the devastation. Well, don't forget, we've only got 4 leaders, and we occasionally see the main field, the leading group of the main field. The men try to stay in contention, but for the rest of the riders in the Tour de France, and there were 190 rather at the start today, they have been spread eagled all over the Pyrenees. Out has gone Shane Sutton from ANC. Sadly, Henrika de Vos, who was second in the King of the Mountains, has gone out in rather a serious way following a crash and is now already in hospital. And we have lost the world champion Beppe Cerrone, who simply couldn't face the Pyrenees, and he's on his way back to Italy. It really has been an amazing start to the Pyrenees. Now we're seeing Nicky Reutemann in second place here. This is Pedro Munoz, and Reutemann just tucked in behind him, trying to break up. No, this is Charlie Motte, who's gone actually in front of Reutemann. Reutemann tried to interfere with the chase here because his teammate Jean-Francois Bernard is the man in the front group, and Reutemann from the same Toshiba team is trying to now break up the rhythm of the Fagor team and of the System U team. Well, we're just about 1.5 miles to go now on the way down into Po, and Eric Breking at the back here is watching the 2 Colombian riders and the Frenchman like a hawk. There's no doubt he has the best sprint finish, and I'm quite sure we're not going to see him do too much work now as we go down to Po. What a shame that Sean Kelly isn't with us now in this Tour de France. He'll remember this finish oh so well. He was the winner here in 1982, the last time he won the stage in the Tour de France. Since then, I think he's been second on 15 occasions. And one of his main ambitions this year was to prove he could come back as a stage winner. But sadly, Kelly is not with us. He might well be watching on television now this dramatic pursuit here. Laurent Fignon trying to drag Charlie Motte, who's sitting on his back wheel, back into the leader's yellow jersey, which on Saturday he also passed over to his teammate Marshall Guéon. Guéon now way, way behind in the Tour. There's the man thinking of yellow today, Charlie Motte. And Stephen Roach goes over the top. So Roach also willing to share here because they, in fact, don't believe, they really feel they must close this gap a little bit on Jean-Francois Bernard. Eric Breking might well also be, at this moment, being seen as a potential winner because he was third in the Tour of Italy. Stephen Roach, of course, the winner in that race. But the Tour of Italy and the Tour de France, 2 extremely different races, although in distance they're only about 300 or 400 miles apart.
Fignon here absolutely forcing the pace along. Obviously saying thank you very much to Stephen Roach there for the little help he got as we go back to the front group, who are now in the streets of Po. And when we come into Po, they'll come up a little rise and then they'll see the red kite, where they can't be very far away from it now. And obviously the riders looking at each other now, wondering if somebody's going to attack up the last little climb here, and Brooking has actually gone to the front.
Well, that I wouldn't have expected him to go to the front just yet. That he's a new professional. He's only been a pro for a couple of years. He's not ridden the Tour de France before. He's the most likely man, because I don't think Herrera has got a hope of winning a sprint. Neither has Pablo Wilches. They're both climbing specialists. And you see him leave the gap there to force Bernard in front of him. That is a typical Dutch manoeuvre. Well,
it's very Dutch. It's a game of poker. You look to the rider alongside you, and just in front there we can see the red kite. They'll go up this little climb and come round the marketplace here of Pau, and into this long, wide finishing straight, which is it's an incredible sprint. And now they'll be thinking, well, this is it. And Brooking is attacking with a kilometre to go. Well, this is a definite Dutch attack. This is what all the riders of Panasonic do, and the others, they're just looking at him. He's gone. They weren't waiting for it. They expected the sprint finish. That was a wonderful move there by Eric Breuking. He's gone. He'll go round the square under the finishing line. They have to go round again, but my goodness me, he's gone. They've not reacted at all. Jean-Francois Bernard didn't react, and he's left the little Colombian there, Wilches. Well, the stage has been won in one simple manoeuvre, because they have not gone for Breuking at all, and he was an obvious candidate for the sprint finish, and I guess they probably thought that it would go to the sprint as well, and he's gone on his own now. So into the square we go right round here, and there's no doubt we'll complete the circuit before the big group behind does come in. And it looks to me as though, as we go right up here, we'll have to turn around the corner at the top. There's Breuking. Wonderful attack, and that's how to win a stage. Eric Breuking has done his job well for Panasonic today. He's marshalled the group as best he could in thinking of Robert Miller. Now he's jumped them to take the stage, the 1,800 pounds, of course. And also we have the car waiting at the finish line as well. And so Eric Breuking, and coming round on the back there is Jean-Francois Bernard, and up goes the hands of Eric Breuking. So this year they've cancelled the final lap. And second, 5 seconds down in that short sprint. Third over the line goes Wilches. Herrera gives up there in fourth place. 14 seconds down in that short gap. And on the finishing circuit now is the second group on the road. Some 25 riders swinging round into the home straight now. Over 3 minutes elapsed. There it is, 3:11. Since Eric Breuking won the day, so it looks to me as though Laurent Fignon's group has saved the day here. Charlie Motte is going to move into the leader's yellow jersey as they all swing round here, led by Pedro Delgado. The orange jersey of Claude Coquillon, Eric Van Lancker on the far left of the picture. Delgado takes them round the corner, and they took Eric Van Lancker rather wide there. He's not a sprinter at the best of time, and he's gone out of the picture. And Delgado is trying again, Van Lancker, coming on the right of the picture here. Good sprint by Eric Van Lancker. So what a great day for Panasonic. They've got first in the front group, and they've led home the chasers as well. I think Van Lancker there was extremely annoyed as Delgado almost took him out on the bender. Roach and Miller are in the group, no question about that. So the result today, this first day in the Pyrenees, Eric Breuking of the Panasonic team gets his first ever stage win. In second place there, Jean-Francois Bernard, but the new leader of the Tour de France is Charlie Motte, who gave his jersey for 2 days to his teammate Marshal Gaillon, and he's taken it back on the first day in the mountains.
And the race really on now. That's the new overall classification with Motte the